everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Jasmine and these are my quarantine vlogs. If you cannot tell already, I am pregnant. I am currently 12 weeks, and not only that, I am pregnant with twins. Yay. So I am already mom to a 9-year-old by the name of London. And we are both very excited. We were both, I was more shocked than she was. She was excited from the jump. So she's been training for the big sister role since she was like 5. So she's definitely ready. With this being my first video I decided to do during this time, with this being a new journey for me and my family, I wanted to kind of chronicle this journey and share it with everyone and to anyone who's going through the same thing I'm going through during this time, to, kind of gather any thoughts, tips, comments, anything that will be helpful for us to share and learn together. I think now is a great time to learn new things because obviously I have not been pregnant or had a newborn in years, and pregnancy and having babies has definitely changed since I had my baby. So anybody going through this journey with me, again, I would definitely like to hear your thoughts, your comments, anything that you've learned during your pregnancy that you want to share. Be greatly appreciated. So let's go. This video may be a little lengthy, so kind of bear with me because I just want to kind of give a little backstory to how we got to where we are. And trying to kind of give history about who I am and all of that jazz. So just bear with me. So we're gonna go back to my first pregnancy, and I will kind of make it quick because again, I don't want for the video to be too lengthy. So 2009 was my very first pregnancy. I was 22, pregnant with a boy. At that time, my son was diagnosed with trisomy 13 when I was about 5 or 6 months. Had no clue what that was. We researched it, and it had all of these signs and that you knew were signs of trisomy 13. So cleft lip, which he definitely had, club foot, respiratory issues, just a lot of stuff. So when we found this out, we were devastated, but at the same time, our faith was bigger than our fear. So we just kind of went into it with, God has the final say, because with trisomy 13, babies don't tend to live very long, and that's kind of what the doctors told me. He would not live to see his first birthday, which again, is for a first time mom, me being so young, that's just it hurts to hear. So I continue on with my pregnancy, again with the hopes that everything is going to be okay. And I went in for like a regular visit, and it turned out that I had preeclampsia. Once again, new terminology that I did not know. With the symptoms that I had, I just thought this was normal for pregnancy when you got to the end. So I had the high blood pressure. I think it's protein in the urine. Correct me if I'm wrong, I can't remember. And also swelling, like everything was swollen. My hands and wrists, my ankles and feet, my face and everything was swollen. But again, I just thought this was all part of pregnancy. Once you were getting towards the end, they was like, no, preeclampsia, we got to induce you now. So they induced me, and I had my son December 16th, 2009. And right out the gate, when I saw him, no thoughts of there is something wrong with him were in my mind. To me, he was perfect. 10 toes, 10 fingers, beautiful face, head full of gorgeous black hair. He was perfect. I saw absolutely nothing wrong with him. He had the cleft lip, but even with that, I couldn't stop looking at him. He was like, this, I created this. This is my baby. This is my son, and he is beautiful. He's a part of me. So I didn't want to believe that something was wrong with him. So long story short, he did stop breathing a couple of times when he was with me. This is one of the times. But each time he came back, from the beginning they told me that he would either be stillborn or that he wouldn't live past 10 minutes. He lived way longer than they expected, which was about 27 hours. Again, he stopped breathing a couple times when he was with me. And that very last time before he passed, he hadn't opened his eyes at all the whole time he was with me. His eyes were closed. But that last time, he opened his eyes so wide and he just looked at me. It was almost like, to me, it was like he was trying to memorize my face. Like, okay, this is mommy. This is a person who has nurtured me in the womb and who has held me this time and gave me all this love and these kisses and everything. This is my mom. I have to remember her face. And he just looked at me and I looked at him. And this was the last time he opened his eyes. Well, the first and last time he opened his eyes. And I remember that they kept saying that they had to take him to the nursery because I needed to get some rest. And I told my mom, I don't want for them to take him to the nursery. I don't want for something to happen and he's not with me. And it was like, he's gonna be fine. You know, he's doing so good. You know, he's surpassing all of the tests that they, take before a baby can go home. He was eating on his own. You know, he was breathing on his own, just all of these steps. So we had high hopes that, okay, he's going to be fine. So he took me to another room, took him to a nursery. And then a couple hours later go by. Excuse me. I couldn't sleep. So I was up because I didn't want to miss anything. And the nurse brings him to the room and she says, his heartbeat is very faint. And so she brings him to the room and I pick him up and I look at him and his hands are like really pale and his little face is blue. And I'm looking at him and it's each breath that he took, it was almost like that was the last one. And so I told my mom, I want to put him in the outfit that he was going to go home in. He was so tiny. He was about 4 pounds. And so the outfit, of course, I had to roll up the sleeves and I had to roll up the bottom. And I put the outfit on him and I just held him and looked at him. And my mom took this picture. And I held him and looked at him. And right then and there, he took his last breath. And I cried. I just cried. And after losing him, I did not want to have any more babies. I did not want to have any more babies because I felt like, what if it happens again? You know, what if there's something wrong with me that's causing, my babies to have whatever this is. So I was very scared to have another baby, but lo and behold, the following year, I get pregnant with my daughter. And from the time I found out I was pregnant up until about 10-12 weeks, which is the time that genetic testing can be done, I was completely nervous. I was nervous, I was scared, because all I could think was, what if it happens again? So have the testing done, and by the grace of God, everything was fine. No chromosome abnormalities. She was good. So go through my pregnancy with, you know, stress-free, and everything was great. The crazy thing is both of them were due at the end of December. He was born December 16th, 2009, and she was born December 8th, 2010. And I just always thought that those dates were just how almost how close they were was just crazy to me. But I don't want to bring you down with any sadness. So once again, after having my daughter, I felt like, okay, I don't want to have any more babies, because I still had that thought of, hey, what if it happens this time? You know, I don't want to go through that again. You know, I just always felt like that. So let's go back 2-3 years. I had like a lot of testing done, just because it was getting towards the end of the year, and I knew my HSA would not roll over. So I wanted to just kind of get every testing that I could possibly get done. So I had Well Woman, I had my regular physical. I think I saw orthopedic that year for my knees. I saw a dermatologist because I had like a permanent black mark on my face that would not go away, and you can probably still see it, but it's not as bad as it was before. So I wanted to see about that. And then I also went to a reproductive specialist, just because I wanted to go ahead and use up everything. So I had all these tests done. Turned out that I had a blocked left tube. And once they told me, I was like, okay. To me, it was pretty much like a, you know, information needs to know type thing. I wasn't, you know, concerned with like, oh my God, what's the next steps? What do I need to do to correct it? I wasn't thinking anything like that, because again, I didn't have any plans of having any more kids. I was content with just the one. I was blessed to have her. I was good. So of course they're giving me, without me even asking, they're giving me all these things that I can do. It's like, if you want to have a baby, you can do IVF, you can have surgery, you can take these pills, you can do these shots. And I'm just like, no, I don't think I'm good. You know, I don't have any plans. You know, I'm good. And so fast forward to now, I'm pregnant, and I'm just like, how the hell did this happen? Like, okay, I know how, but it's like, okay, I haven't gotten pregnant all of this time. And granted, there was some times, you know, I didn't take any precautions. You know, don't be like me. Did not take any precautions, but I was just thinking, once I got that news, I was like, okay, well, I really can't get pregnant, so I'm not worried about it. Do not have that thought. That means nothing. So, before I even took a test, I was in deep denial, like deep denial. Like a couple of days after my cycle was actually supposed to start, I had LASIK, the LASIK surgery. And so when my cycle didn't come, I chalked it up to, okay, well, I've been stressed this whole week about this procedure, so maybe that's what kind of knocked it off. It had only been like 2-3 days or whatever. So I was like, okay, it's going to come. 2 and 3 days came and went. 4 and 5 days came and went. 6-7 days came and went. And I'm just like, okay, maybe I miscalculated. Let me go back and look at my calendar and look at the dates. But, you know, it was supposed to come on, I want to say like February 18th or 19th. Didn't come. And I'm just like, okay. I'm basically trying to chalk it up to everything but pregnancy. Like, I was transitioning into a new position at work. I was in the process of moving to a different city to be close to the new position. So I was like, okay, I have all of this stuff going on. So maybe that's what's kind of knocking my cycle off. So I'm just in deep denial. Like, it can't be pregnancy. It can't be. There's no way. You know, I'm thinking there is something medically wrong with me. Aside from pregnancy, there is something medically wrong. Maybe I'm going through the change or something. So March 1st was the day I decided to let me go ahead and take a pregnancy test. Mind you, at this time, I'm already a week and a half late. I know, week and a half late. And so I get up and I go to the dollar store, buy 3 little cheap dollar pregnancy tests. Go home, take the first test out. It's to come with the little dropper, peanut little cup, and I put the first drop in. On these tests, it requires 3 drops. I put the first drop in, and it immediately turned positive. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, old girl clearly has sold me a gag pregnancy test because there is no way that it can turn positive this fast off of 1 drop. There's no way. So I was like, okay, let me get the other one. So I opened those, same thing, 1 drop, immediately turned pink. Like, and not like light pink, a faint line, you gotta squint your eye and hold it up to the light. No, dark pink. Dark pink. Like, I didn't have to sit and wait the 3 to 5 minutes, nothing. It was immediate. So I'm sitting there looking at the test, and I'm just saying to myself, I'm pregnant. Oh my God, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant. I'm saying it out loud because it's not really registering to me looking at the test. I have to say it out loud to make it make sense. So after about 2-3 minutes, I end up calling my mom. No, I FaceTime my mom. And I was like, girl, why I'm pregnant? And she said, Jazz, you play too much. I was like, Mom, I'm serious. And so I flipped the camera and I showed her the test. And I was like, look, all 3 are positive. I am pregnant. And I flipped the camera back over and she's just like, and I'm like, I know. It's happened. I'm pregnant. There's a whole baby in there. And she was like, well, what you gonna do? And I'm like, I'm having a baby. That's it. So we talked for a few more minutes, and then we get off the phone. And then as soon as I get off the phone, my mind clicks to 2-3 years ago, and I was like, I got it. It's a tubal pregnancy. Gotta be. It's got to be a tubal pregnancy. It's the only thing that makes sense. So, Tuesday, which is March 3rd, Tuesday morning, I wake up to like a sharp pain in my side. I had a pain in my back that was radiating down my arm. It wasn't a pain in my arm, it was like a numbness. And I was like, this is it, tubal pregnancy. And so took off work that morning and I went to the ER. And go in there, give them brief history of what's going on. It was like, okay, let's hurry up and get you back. And so they do all the testing, blood work, urine, and all that, and they do a ultrasound. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to the ER when you're pregnant and you have to have an ultrasound. The ultrasound tech is going to do their absolute best to make sure you do not see that screen. Because this is not the time for you to be doing videos, FaceTiming with your husband and all this. That's not what you're there for. They are there to just diagnose what's going on, and that's it. So she had the screen face towards her so strong. So I'm on the table and I'm leaning back trying to look and see. And as I'm looking, I'm like, I know that's not 2 spots. 2 little spaces that I see. And I was like, no, it can't be. So I'm still trying to look and see, and I can still see these 2 spaces. And I'm like, okay, I just had this LASIK. Maybe my eyes are still adjusting to not wearing glasses, and I'm having double vision right now. Let me stop trying to strain my eyes to see and just wait for them to tell me what's going on. So she leaves, and she's like, let me go talk to the doctor. I was like, okay. In the room was a student. There was a student with us, and she asked if it was okay for him to, you know, do a couple pictures and kind of look around for practice. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. So I'm looking. As soon as she closed the door, I grabbed him by his hand, and I was like, Will. I was like, Will, give it to me straight. Was them two spaces that I saw? And he looked around and he was like, well, the cat's out the bag, but it does appear to be twins. And so he turns the screen towards me and he's showing me, he was like, okay, here's the space here. Here's a little space here. He clicked on something. He was like, you can see the heartbeat on this one. You can see the heartbeat on that one. So as far as we can see, it is twins. And I'm like, okay. It's like, okay, it's two babies. And with him telling me that, I think I had like a moment of sadness, because once again, I'm thinking this is a tubal pregnancy, and it's already sad that, you know, I may lose one baby, but the thought of, you know, hey, I may be losing two, you know, it kind of hurt me a little bit. So I was a little bit sad. And so the tech, she comes back in and she was like, okay, if you'll just go back to the waiting room, the doctor, he'll come and talk to you. So 5 minutes or so go by, and the doctor comes. He's like, let's find an empty room to talk in. And so I follow him into a room. Now I'm already mentally preparing myself for what he's about to tell me, that, you know, it's a tubal pregnancy. It's, you know, definitely twins. And these are the steps that we need to take in order to, you know, do what needs to be done. And so we get to the room, and he was like, okay, I have good news and I have more news. And I'm like, okay. So he was like, the good news is the pregnancy is not in your tube. It's definitely in your uterus. And I was like, okay. And he was like, the more news is it's twins. And I was like, you have got to be shitting me. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he was like, no, that's definitely the response I was expecting. I was like, twins as in two babies? And he was like, yes, ma'am. I was like, so both twins are in the uterus, no twins are in the tube. Is that what you're telling me? He was like, yes. From what we can see, both twins are in the uterus. There's a strong heartbeat on both. You're at about 6 weeks, 5 days or so. I was close to 7 weeks by that time. So he was like, so from what we can see, everything looks good. All you need to do now is just schedule an appointment with your doctor and, you know, go from there. And he's like, are you going to be okay? I was like, yeah, I'm just kind of taking it all in. He's like, okay, we'll get your paperwork and, you know, you're good to go. So I get my paperwork, go to the car, and I was about to call my mom, and I was like, no, I have got to pull up. I have got to see her face to face and deliver this news, because she is not going to believe me. So I leave the ER. Excuse me. I go to my mom's house and knock on the door. She answers, and I was like, I'm having twins. The first thing she said was, why you play so much? That's like her go-to. And I was like, Mom, I'm serious. And so I pulled the paperwork out of my purse, and I'm showing her. Let me see. I have it. So pull the paperwork out, and I'm like, Mom, I don't know if you can see it. It says first trimester, twin gestation. And we're both just, the look on her face is like all the emotions that I had the first time around. And I'm just like, yeah, it's happening. It is definitely happening. I'm having twins. Um, so hey, this just gotta do what we gotta do. And I don't think twins run deep in my family. Like my twins will be the fifth set of twins, so I don't know which one was more of a shocker, me having the twins or me being pregnant. I think being pregnant was more of a shocker. So, but I think once we got over the shock, then the excitement kind of kicked in. You know, with my mom, the dad, all my friends. We're all excited now. Again, we were all shocked, but we're excited now. This is definitely it's I won't say scary, but it's definitely a different time to be pregnant during this time. I send love and light to all the mommies that are having to deliver during this time. I know just that is kind of stressful, and I hope that you're able to find some kind of peace during your delivery. And so I'm just hoping and praying that when it's time for me to deliver in October, all of this mess will be over. And that's why I kind of wanted to kind of document this journey and what all we're going through during this time. I know I wanted to do just monthly updates. I didn't want to bombard you guys with daily and weekly videos because my life is boring. I don't do much. You know, I work, I sew a little bit sometimes. That'll definitely be something I'll be doing a lot more, knowing that I'm about to have 2 new little babies. I do know the sex of one, which is very exciting to know. So that kind of helps with ideas as far as the type of little cute little garments I want to make. If anybody is going through this same thing as me, you know, pregnant during this quarantine life, please share your thoughts, comments, prayers, tips, anything that's helpful that, you know, we can kind of learn and share with each other. I know pregnancy and moms is a giant community, so I'm just trying to be a part of that community and just share the things that I've learned and learn things that are definitely new, because I know a lot has changed since I had my baby. It was 2010, it's 2020, so I know it's a lot of new things that I have seen so far. So again, I appreciate you guys sitting here with me, and I promise the next videos won't be as lengthy. Just again, I just wanted to kind of give my history and how we got to where we are now and the things that we're going through. Not much has happened leading up to this 12 weeks. Just kind of basic things, you know, nausea and sleeping and all of that. So nothing really exciting has happened aside from me finding out that I'm having twins. But other than that, it's been pretty chill. So again, I hope that you like, subscribe, and share, and join me for my next video. Maybe next time have my daughter join me and do a little Q&A on how she's feeling about this whole thing. I do know that she's for sure excited, but you know, we haven't really discussed too much of anything else. So I know I wanted to kind of get some questions together to ask her, you know, how she's feeling about all of this, and you know, what does she think her role is going to be, just all of this stuff. So we'll discuss that on the next video. So till then, I will see you guys next time. Bye.